Hello and welcome. Making a quick video here to address a common problem I am noticing. And that problem is that setting details are missing. I'm calling this little tutorial, Where the Heck Are We? Um, you guys have done a great job with emotion and character, and I'm getting such great details, but I have no idea where they are. And for many of your stories, where you are matters. Yeah. Setting, you could argue it always matters, but I think for some of your stories, it especially matters where you are. Okay. So where the heck are we? Take a look at the story that I've written here. This isn't copied from somebody's, but it's inspired by many of yours. I was shivering with fear. I was so mad at myself for taking the risk to leave yesterday. They must have seen me. I hear footsteps. They are getting closer. So we have action, we have character and inner thought. Suddenly a Nazi is standing in front of me. Get out, he says. I get out of it and stand up. The gun is still pointed at my face. I told you someone was hiding here, the other Nazi said. He grabbed me by the arm and dragged me forward. They took me away. I tripped and suddenly started sliding down a muddy hill. Okay. So first of all, when I said that you started falling down a muddy hill, had you been picturing that this person was outside near a muddy hill? No. Had You may have been picturing anything. A basement, a library, a rooftop, an alley, a dumpster. Nowhere in there does it say where this guy was hiding. Clearly, he was hiding. We got that. He was found. We got that. He took a risk and left yesterday, and somebody saw him and they followed him. But to where? Where the heck are we? In my brain, I'm going to tell you where I was imagining it. And then I want you to see if that was what you thought at any point until the last sentence. This is a person hiding in a cave on a hillside. But wait, Miss Griswold, how am I supposed to know that? Ah, setting details. Setting details, especially in a short story. In the first few paragraphs, I need to know where we are. Okay. When I actually started writing this at first, I thought, okay, could this person be hiding in a secret trap door under a house? Yes. But then I added the muddy hill that doesn't fit. So I actually decided this person is hiding in a cave on a hillside. Okay. So I have to start very quickly by giving my readers a mental picture of where my character is, what they see, what they smell, specifically what they see. Our brains are extremely visual, so you need to make sure you have visual details. Okay, I was shivering with fear. Let's start right there. I like that first line. I'm shivering with fear. Okay, clearly this is creating tension and drama, but I don't know where we are shivering with fear. So I am going to add, I was sitting on the cold, damp floor of the cave with my knees pulled up to my chest. Okay. I was so mad at myself for taking the risk of, they must have seen me, walking down the hillside from the cave. I knew it was a risk, that the hillside could be seen from the village, but I was so hungry. I hear footsteps. Okay. Are they in the cave? Are they on the path outside the cave? I don't think I could hear footsteps outside the cave, but I could hear gravel crunching like on a rocky pathway. I hear the crunch of footsteps on the rocky path outside the cave mouth. I'm thinking back to our CWW trip. They are getting closer. Now, did I say how many Nazis I think I hear? Do I hear multiple footsteps or just one? That's part of the setting. What does it sound like? It sounds like more than one set of feet. And they are getting closer. Suddenly, a Nazi is standing in front of me. Okay. Now, I said a Nazi. A lot of you did this. You didn't mention part of the setting. What does the scene look like? Is how many people, right? Suddenly, 3 Nazis. Let's make it 2 Nazis and a man in regular clothes are standing in front of me. Good. I need to picture the scene. Okay, so now I see the huddled in the cave and I see 3 people standing over me, not just in front of me, but they're leaning down. Oh, over me. Now I'm going to make it get up. He says, which he, um, the Nazi standing at the front of a group says, it's going to tell me that's wrong. That is correct. See, it fixed it. I get out of it, right? So we didn't know what it was. So I'm going to say I stand up. I stand up slowly. Again, I need to picture it standing, shaking up. Um, I can't stand all the way up because I was crouched in a corner of the cave. I hunch over and put my hands up. So now I'm imagining the scene. Oh, you were in a cave, you were crouched down, then you're standing, but you can't sit up all the way, so your hands are up and I can really picture it now. The movie is playing in my brain. Okay, the gun is still pointed at my face. I told you someone was hiding in here. The man in the plain clothes said. Which he? I need to see the movie. The Nazi who was standing in the back. So now I imagine there was one in the front and one in the back. Who's standing in the back, jumps forward. Jumped. I gotta pick my tense here. Jumped forward. I gotta go back here. I said. Okay. I stood up slowly. My verb tense changed. I couldn't stand away because I was crouched. The gun was. I hunch over and I hunched over and put my hands up. Someone, the man plain clothes said, grabbed me by the arm and dragged me forward. Then they took me away. Okay, wait a minute. I can't picture that. What do you mean they took you away? Did they put you in a car? Did they have a bike? Did they cuff you? Did they drag you? Did they let you walk? Did they push you? I need more setting. I need to picture the scene happening in my mind. Okay. Then they dragged me. I've already said dragged, maybe. Pulled me out of the cave. I had to squint my eyes in the sunshine. Okay. Because he's been in the cave all the time. Now that helps me see we were in a dark cave. Now it's bright. He's squinting. I tripped and suddenly started sliding down a muddy hill on my butt. Okay. A muddy hill on my butt, a muddy hill that sloped down from the rocky path we were walking down. So where were you walking when you slipped? Oh, you were walking down a path from this cave back down to the village. There was a drop off. So, pathway, hill, and he slid down and it was muddy. And I might even add I smacked into branches and rolled. I think he got handcuffed. I don't think so. Luckily, I wasn't handcuffed. So I could reach out and grab roots to stop myself. Reach out and use my hands. And so, okay, use my hands to stop myself. Okay. So it started out, and we clearly got that there was a scared person hiding who was caught by Nazis and taken away. But we didn't know where they were hiding. Right? What kind of room were they in, or what kind of secret place were they in? What time of day was it? What did the floor feel like? You could talk about what it smells like. I didn't add any of those details, but I at least got some visual details. Then they were walking out of the cave and he tripped from the path and fell down a muddy hill, okay, down a side. So now, hopefully, I'm going to read this one more time and I want you to see if you can see the story in your mind like a movie now. Okay. Where the heck are we? Okay. I was shivering with fear. I was sitting on the cold, damp floor of the cave with my knees pulled up to my chest. I was so mad at myself for taking the risk to leave yesterday. They must have seen me walking down the hillside from the cave. I knew it was a risk that the hillside could be seen from the village, but I was so hungry. I heard the crunch of footsteps on the rocky path outside the cave mouth. It sounded, my verb tense here got messed up, like there were like more than one set of feet, and they were getting closer. Suddenly, two Nazis and a man in regular clothes are standing over me. For me, flashlight pointed into my eyes. Get up, the Nazi standing at the front of the group said. I stood up slowly, setting details. I couldn't stand all the way up because I was crouched in a corner of the cave. I hunched over and put my hands up. The gun was still pointed at my face. I told you someone was hiding here, the man in the plain clothes said. The Nazi was standing at the back, jumped forward, um, grabbed me by the arm and dragged me forward. Let's say pulled me forward. Not dragged me forward. Then they pulled me out of the cave. How about forward and out of the cave? I just squint my eyes in the sunshine. And then here, I'd been hiding in this cave for 2 weeks, only sneaking out once yesterday. Now I'm getting you some more background details, just peppered in. I tripped and suddenly started sliding down a muddy hill that sloped down from the rocky path where we were walking. I smacked into branches and rolled. Luckily, I wasn't handcuffed, so I could reach out and use my hands to stop myself. Think about how much more clear setting we could picture in our mind and we could see in this new version versus the old one. So I want you to read through your story again. In those first few paragraphs, I want you to make sure that you have included enough setting details. Where are we? What's the weather? What's the temperature? What does it feel like, right? If they're sitting on a chair, is it a soft chair? What does the room smell like? But all that establishes setting. But you most importantly have to include the visual details. We need to see where we are in our minds. Otherwise, we start guessing. So you might have been reading this and thinking, "Oh, are they hiding in a basement?" But then when they fell down a muddy hill, you're like, "What? Where did the muddy hill come from?" See, it wasn't clear. Okay, so this has been a tutorial on how to include more setting details early in your story so that the reader can picture in their mind. I don't need to describe every leaf on every tree, but I need to at least tell you the facts of the basics of where we are, and the reader will use their imagination to add some more extra details. But if they don't know that we're in a cave, they can't imagine a cave in their mind. If they don't know that we're in a basement or a locked bathroom, we need to know where we are. Okay, then they'll add those real human details to their minds. Okay, thanks for watching and happy editing.